You were trying to figure out exactly what you did wrong. You were sitting alone in the dark, completely exhausted, replaying every single conversation in your head, every text message, every fleeting interaction, every slight change in the tone of their voice, every look they gave you from across the room. Why did the atmosphere suddenly turn freezing cold? It happens almost overnight. The shift is incredibly subtle at first, but absolutely, terrifyingly undeniable. The awkward, heavy silences when you enter the room, the passive-aggressive comments cleverly disguised as harmless jokes, the whispers that abruptly stop the exact second you walk by, the sudden, unexplainable distance from people you used to call your closest friends, your inner circle, or even your own flesh and blood. You are standing right in the middle of a crowded room, but you have never, ever felt more profoundly isolated. It feels like you are walking blindly through a heavy, dark storm, and everyone around you has suddenly turned into a faceless, hostile shadow. They stop inviting you to the table. They stop reaching out to check on you. They look at you with this strange, heavy, unexplainable resentment burning in their eyes. You can physically feel the tension in the air. You can feel the invisible walls they have suddenly built around themselves to keep you locked out. And the worst part? The absolute most agonizing part that keeps you awake at 3 in the morning staring at the ceiling with a knot in your stomach? You haven't done anything to hurt them. You haven't betrayed their trust. You haven't lied to their face. You haven't attacked their character. You have only tried, with everything inside of you, to be a better version of yourself. So, instinctively, because your heart is pure, you turn the weapon on yourself. You sit in the dark and you tear your own character apart, piece by bleeding piece. You ask yourself, am I the problem? Am I asking for too much? Am I too loud? Am I too ambitious? Did I say something arrogant when I was just sharing my joy? Is there something deeply, fundamentally broken inside of me that just naturally pushes people away? You feel the heavy, suffocating weight of this silent rejection crushing your chest. You feel like a complete outcast in a tribe you helped build. You feel like an alien wandering on your own planet. You are walking on eggshells around people you used to run freely with. You are bleeding silently from the sharp, invisible cuts of 1,000 tiny, unexplained rejections. You cry out in the dark, looking up at the heavy, storm-filled sky, asking God, why is everyone suddenly leaving me? Why am I suddenly so intensely alone? What did I possibly do to deserve this suffocating isolation when all I did was try to do the right thing? But what if your isolation is not a punishment at all? What if their sudden, freezing coldness has absolutely nothing to do with your flaws and entirely everything to do with your light? Listen to me very carefully. You desperately need to hear this profound spiritual truth before you completely destroy your own self-esteem trying to please them. The problem is not your darkness. The problem is your massive, expanding, blinding light. You see, you have started to actively grow. You have started to genuinely heal. You started reading, praying, setting firm boundaries, and refusing to settle for the quiet desperation and mediocrity that everyone else around you has accepted as their permanent reality. You stopped engaging in their toxic gossip. You stopped complaining for hours about how unfair life is, and you started taking radical, heavy responsibility for your own divine destiny. You stepped out of the heavy collective fog of the crowd, and you started to vibrate at a much higher, much purer frequency. And by doing exactly that, you unintentionally committed the ultimate, unforgivable crime against the comfortable majority. You changed. Your rapid spiritual growth aggressively activated their deepest, darkest insecurities. Your new, unwavering discipline became a blinding, uncomfortable spotlight directly shining on their daily laziness. Your healing violently exposed their stubborn, hidden refusal to heal their own wounds. You became a walking, breathing mirror, and when they look at you now, they do not actually see you. They see the exact, terrifying reflection of their own wasted potential. They see the beautiful dreams they cowardly gave up on. They see the courage they never had the spine to display. Their sudden hostility is not a rejection of who you are. It is a desperate, panicked psychological defense mechanism against the incredible power you now represent. God is intentionally using their profound discomfort to execute a flawless, aggressive rescue mission in your life. He is forcefully revealing the toxic archetypes that have been hiding in plain sight within your inner circle for years. These are people who only loved you when you were broken because your brokenness made them feel superior. They loved you when you were bleeding and confused because it made them feel like the strong, stable ones. As long as you were struggling, you were safe to be around. But now that you are standing up, now that your spine is perfectly straight, your eyes are clear, and your purpose is locked in, they are intensely, physically intimidated by your new height. They are literally suffocating in your new, purified atmosphere.
Now, breathe. Stop defending yourself to them. Stop shrinking your magnificent posture. Look at the horizon. Let the heavy, freezing chaos of their judgment and their whispers entirely dissolve into the absolute monumental silence of this exact moment. Here is the greatest spiritual revelation you will ever receive about human nature and divine protection. Listen closely and let this heavy anchor permanently secure your soul. The light does not ever apologize for shining, and the fire does not ever apologize for clearing away the dry wood. Do you understand the sheer, magnificent magnitude of what is happening to you right now in the unseen realm? You are not being rejected by the universe. You are being fiercely, divinely protected from forces that want to keep you small. This is the ultimate redirection, a flawless pivot orchestrated directly by the Creator. The universe is forcefully, intentionally shaking your tree to see exactly which lifeless leaves fall off. And you are standing there, crying over leaves that were already entirely withered long before the wind even started blowing. You cannot physically carry everyone you love to the summit of your specific mountain. The air at the top is simply too thin, too pure for those who are deeply, secretly committed to living in the low, muddy valleys of gossip, jealousy, and stagnation. You have been desperately praying for elevation. You have been crying out to the Creator for a new season, for a massive breakthrough, for a pure, unshakable foundation of peace and prosperity. But you did not realize the heavy cost of that prayer. You did not realize that true, lasting elevation always, without exception, requires absolute separation. This period of sudden, deafening silence, this temporary, echoing loneliness that feels so heavy on your shoulders, it is not a curse. Do not let your mind trick you into feeling like a discarded victim. This is your sacred, holy wilderness season. In the wilderness, there are no noisy crowds to distract you. There is no cheap applause, but there is also no subtle manipulation. There is only absolute, terrifying clarity. You are being intentionally isolated so that you can finally hear the divine frequency, the true voice of your calling, without the heavy, toxic, static noise of their constant, limiting opinions. You are being forged in the quiet fire of solitude because the weight of the glory you are about to carry would crush a weak foundation. You must now adopt the mindset of a true, unwavering Stoic believer. You cannot control their whispers in the dark. You cannot control their silent judgments, their rolling eyes, their fabricated stories about you, or their sudden, cowardly withdrawal. You can only control how firmly, how proudly you stand in your own brilliant light. Do not let their temporary human weakness corrupt your permanent divine strength. Do not let their internal, messy chaos infect your divine stoic order. Eagles fly entirely alone in the high winds. It is only pigeons that flock together in the dirt, fighting over scraps. It is time to completely, unapologetically let them go. Stop trying to explain your beautiful, complex evolution to people who are absolutely committed to misunderstanding you. They do not want to understand you. They want you to stay exactly where you were so they don't have to move. Stop shrinking your massive, magnificent spirit just to make them feel a little bit more comfortable in their self-imposed smallness. If your brilliant, radiant light hurts their unadjusted eyes, let them put on sunglasses, or better yet, let them turn around and walk away, right back into the comfortable shadows where they truly belong. You do not need to perform a desperate autopsy on a dead relationship. You do not need closure from people who locked the door. Let it rest in peace. Do not be angry with them. Do not harbor a single drop of dark bitterness in your newly purified heart. Pity them instead. They are tragically trapped in a cold, heavy cage of their own making, terrified of the very growth that you have so bravely embraced. Forgive them for not having the courage, the strength, or the spiritual stamina to meet you at your new demanding altitude. Forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is the sharp, heavy steel blade that cuts the final invisible cord tying your brilliant future to their lower frequency. When you finally stop begging for a seat at tables you have clearly, undeniably outgrown, you will notice something incredible happening to your body, your mind, and your spirit. The heavy, dark armor of self-doubt completely shatters and falls uselessly to the ground. Your posture straightens automatically. Your vision becomes incredibly crystal clear. The air you breathe becomes light, crisp, and pure. You will realize that the massive space they left behind in your life when they walked away is not an empty, terrifying void. It is a fully cleared, beautifully illuminated runway for your massive, unstoppable destiny. You survived the freezing, bitter winds of the wilderness season. You navigated the storm of their sudden betrayal. You did not compromise your beautiful, divine soul just to keep their cheap, conditional company. And now you are standing alone on a foundation of solid, unbreakable rock. You are completely untouchable. You are no longer afraid of the dark, because you have finally deeply realized that you are the light. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. If this message brought profound, undeniable peace to your soul today, if it powerfully validated the lonely, difficult, beautiful path you are currently walking, subscribe to the channel. Share this video with someone who is secretly suffering from the unexplained coldness of their circle. Let them know they are not going crazy. Let them know they are not broken or flawed. Let them know they are divinely chosen. Leave a comment below declaring your new, unbreakable standard to the universe. Type, "I will not dim my light." Keep your eyes locked firmly on the horizon. Stand incredibly tall. Your greatest, most magnificent chapter is just beginning.